All right, welcome everyone to this Thursday night's edition of Southern Woods and Waters. And boy, am I proud of you for pulling off of the Titans football game and come over here and watch this, because let me tell you something, we have got a great show for you tonight. I'm sorry that it's been a little late, but Mark is a busy guy, but we're going to get him on here many more times and help us out here, because we've got the cure for finding those fish. And let me tell you something. I've used these units, and I promise you they will do exactly what Mark's going to tell you that they'll do. And that is find your fish, know where they're located, whether it be side structure, down skin, whatever the case may be. We're going to be able to find those fish a little bit better. Matter of fact, at the end of the show, you might think for 1 minute that the fish doesn't stand a chance with this kind of electronics, and you probably are right. But remember, you still got to set the hook. You still got to catch them. But let's broaden out and introduce our guest to you tonight. This is Mark Sullivan. He is with Lowrance Navico.
Navico, right.
Navico, but we're highlighting Lowrance units tonight and trying to help some people
try to understand them just a little bit better.
Just a little bit better. And before we get started, Mark, I want to say we don't, you know, a lot of people are looking at electronics now. You go to Bass Pro Shops, the electronics is one of the busiest sections of Bass Pro Shops. People are trying to learn. They want to know more. They want to catch more fish.
Everybody wants to catch more fish to get out there and at least come home and have Mama a check at the end of a tournament.
At least let Mama know you got smelly hands from catching fish.
That's right. Keep us out of trouble that way.
It keeps the guys out of trouble.
And you know, now that electronics, every day it's just like a cell phone or a computer. It changes constantly.
Every day.
And that's the neat thing about what we do at Lowrance now through Navico. We have 3 brands, and those 3 brands share data across the board. And for instance, our B&G brand, that is precision racing sailboat equipment that's seen on the America's Cups type sailboats. And then Simrad is our deep offshore things. In fact, on the Simrad lineup now we have what we call chirp technology on our sounder module, and we can ping to 10,000 feet now.
Goodness gracious.
It's brand new technology that's
over there. A mile, people. That's over a mile.
And so now we take all that technology and share it across the board. We can't help but get better in what we do.
So you're taking offshore technology that you've been working on for years for offshore and bringing it inshore.
Right. Some of the neat things, like the menu system now that's on the HDS when we go into the carousel, that came from the saltwater side of the house.
I got to tell you, that is the neatest thing, because now you can actually carousel it around to where you can find out what you need to be looking for, and then just scroll down to it, punch it, hit enter, and it comes up. And
then the other neat thing is the illustration up here in the top left box. It changes, and you can go, oh, that picture looks like what I want it to be.
That's what I want to see.
That's it. And then we now added the fast keys to where we can save the fast page, so just like a radio. So now it's just like we can hit the button and there it is, and now it shifts directly to it.
Let's get a little closer to the camera. That's great. That's coming in great. Yes.
So now if we come back, I'll bring it back here to pages, and you can see with the 8 and the 10-inch units, we have soft keys, and that allows us to set our favorites page, because there's nothing more exciting than going down the lake at about 78 miles an hour on an early morning and want to change your screen and have to go here and buzz around real quick. It's easier just to hit a button.
Then about that time your partner goes, "Stop!"
Or he's beating on you or hitting you with a hat or something. Yeah, it gets kind of scary. But one of the biggest problems I find when people call me and say, "Mark, I got a problem."
Right.
And the first question I have to ask them is your software up to date? And usually there's that dead silence.
Don't know what you're talking about.
No idea. So if we were to take this, folks, and just get onto a page, we'd be able to go to and hit menu. So you're going to hit menu twice. And then we're going to come up here to system. We'll arrow over and drop down to about and hit enter. And it tells us our software application. We then can go to the Lowrance website and go to Lowrance.com.
Right.
We go to downloads, and then it says software updates. And we follow the directions, and we can download it right into a standard SD card. We turn our machine off, we stick the SD card in, hit power, and it updates our hard drive automatically. So when the saltwater guys find a bug in the system, because this operating system, much like Microsoft or Apple or whatever.
Right.
We have this operating system goes across all three brands. So when we find an error, we're able to research it through the three brands and then correct it.
That's awesome.
So then,
and you don't have to you don't have to register or anything like
well,
that.
You want to go ahead and register.
You want to register
for your warrant. Yeah,
That's right.
But in order to get the updates, it's free.
That's what I'm saying.
And we carry it through the life of the unit until we stop making it.
Okay.
So the Gen 1s, the update that's on the website now, and the way that folks out there can figure out if they've got a Gen 1 unit versus a Gen 2. On a Gen 1 unit, the word Lowrance is in black. On a Gen 2, it's in white.
It's in white.
Yeah. Simple and easy.
But there's updates for both.
Right.
Gen 1 or Gen 2.
And even for the smaller units now, the small Elite series that we put down into the affordable range for the guy that doesn't need a 10-inch screen on his boat.
Well, like the HDS 5 or
right.
the HDS 7.
Or the Elite 5.
Or the Elite 5, that's
or
right.
even our brand new little unit, the Elite 4 series, the little 4-inch series.
That's right.
Those all take SD cards. Now, they take the micro SD.
Okay.
So make sure if you download it, you've got an adapter. It's nothing more than an SD card that little card slides in.
Right.
But when you stick it in the machine, make sure you got a pair of needle-nose pliers to get it back out. Because you got fat fingers like I do.
Yeah, no nails.
Well, that and the hooks in the fingernails, pretty soon they just get worn out.
That's right, calloused.
That's it. So you have to be real careful that way. So that's really important to make sure we know how to do that.
And it's so easy now. They go to what website now?
It's a www.lowrance.com.
Lowrance.com. So that's a great. Write this down, ladies and gentlemen, because you're going to need this. www.lowrance.com. This gives you all the updates. And go in there and check your updates now.
And then, and it'll also tell us if we have rebates offered. And there's also helpful tips.
Now, I have been on the tip page. That does help. It does help.
It does.
And there's a way that they can contact support teams through Lowrance.
Right. So you can go to the website. You can say contact support. You can type in your question, and then you can turn around and wait. And in a couple of days, it's 2 to 3 days because we do get quite a few. Except this time of year, it's a little bit faster. But during season,
it's
crazy.
Oh yeah.
And then you'll get an email back from customer service, and they'll give you the standard book answer.
All right. I tell you what, we got to take our first break. Visit some of our fine sponsors. But when we come back, we got more Lowrance Electronics right here with the great Mark Sullivan. So hurry back to more of Southern Woods and Waters. This segment is being brought to you by Stan Sloan Zora Bait Company, where setting the hook is an everyday thing. This segment is being brought to you by Fate Sanders Marina. Come by and check out the jewel of Percy Priest Lake. All right, this week's Piece of the Week being brought to you by Flowers Deer Processing. Hey, deer season opens September 1st in Kentucky, September 24th for all those Tennessee fans. So get ready. Check out Flowers Deer Processing. Our first picture here, this is our first place winners with the first place and first big largemouth bass was John Muir and Tony Douglas. They had a total of 9.15 pounds with their big largemouth weighing 378. And second place is Joe Herron and Terry Sanders, and they had 5.67 pounds. And then third place winners was Wayne Godfrey and Tony Farrell with 5.61 pounds, and they had the second place big largemouth with a 348. So great job there. We got many more pictures. This was the last Thursday night's winners over here on Percy Priest. So congratulations, guys. You did a fantastic job. Fishing has been just a little bit slow out there, but that's okay. With this kind of stuff right here now, you can pick that up just a degree or two and make it just a little bit less difficult.
Well, you know, when you stop and think about fishing, fish are in about 20% of the water we're out there hunting.
That's right.
And that gets pretty tough. And I'm telling you what, we're not out there, I don't think we're out there to find them. We're out there to eliminate the water that they're not in.
That's exactly right.
And that's the beauty of Structure Scan. we can get out there and we can start eliminating water. Because if we don't see things, we don't see structure that we think will hold the fish, then why bother our time? I had a boy, as structure scan came out, I live up on Lake Lanier in Atlanta, and he said, there's a big fish in this pocket, and I've always seen it. You know, I go in there, and I can't catch him. And I'm going, well, let's go up there. And it was the first day we had come out with structure scan.
Right.
And so we slapped it on his boat. We ran up there, and it was a limb.
A limb.
A limb.
He'd been trying to catch a limb.
He'd been trying to catch.
I bet he caught that limb a few times.
Yeah, I don't think he ever got a jig and spoon in there well enough to really bring it up. So structure scan is a great tool. You know, ourselves and some of our competitors have it, and it helps us eliminate. It takes what we used to learn in 2D sonar, and that's what the industry calls our standard sonar screen.
Right.
Call it 2D, and we're able to make it look more like a picture.
Now, Mark, I want to talk. First off, this is the side scan, and what
Correct.
the white line in the middle represents is your boat.
It's the center line of our boat.
That's right. Everything to the right-hand side would be to the right-hand side of the boat. The left-hand would be the left-hand side.
Correct.
With your boat pointing forward.
Right.
And or to the top.
And this right here at the top of the screen is reading directly from our sounder module or our transducer straight down behind our boat.
Which is usually located at the rear of the boat. So
right.
Whatever's at this top of this orange line right here, that's what we just came over.
Correct.
Okay. And so what we're looking at, well, on the simulation side here, it's got us. This is reading the same thing as the right-hand side of our sonar.
Correct. As we're leading right in, bringing it on the right-hand side, this is our most active as it moves across.
Right.
And here it's down.
Okay.
All right.
So what they're looking at, you know, some of these pictures here, like you see the little white specks, but here you can tell that's fish on that little hump right there.
So what we can do is, and what's neat is here's this orange box. All we have to do is take pages and hold. Now we can hit our crosshairs and we can back it up. We can back it up to 3 full panes. We can run it all the way back. So what we have is track back. That's something our competitors don't have. Because typically we would catch that fish off the top of the hump.
Right.
I'd net it. No, I'd catch it. You would net it.
I'd net it.
You're good net man? Okay.
I bet you net man.
You'd net it. We can get ourselves a high five, get a Coca-Cola, maybe eat a cracker and go, wait a minute, what did we catch that fish off of? And you'd look at me and go, I don't know.
I don't know.
So then all we have to do is back up and we can come back to it. And the neat thing about it is we can come right back to it and drop a waypoint right there and be able to go right back to it. Back when you and I started fishing a day or two ago.
Yeah.
We would go and find a spot and we'd go, oh, that spot, and we'd throw a buoy out and then we'd circle back and we could never find the spot again.
Mark, I was before buoys.
See, I learned about buoys while I was in the Navy.
I was before buoys.
Okay, Coca-Cola bottle on a string.
We took that Coke bottle.
So one thing we got to notice here is we've stopped everything. On 2D sonar, you can see we've got arches.
Right.
On structure scan, we have white dots.
That's right.
And the reason being is on 2D sonar, our sound, our sound that comes down out of the transducer is like an upside down ice cream cone, so it comes down round. So when a fish enters it, it comes in and it starts to tick, and as he goes through it comes wider, and as he goes out it goes out, and that's how we develop fish arches.
That's right.
Now, structure scan is not a round cylinder cone coming down, it's a 5-degree beam like a laser light going through that circle. So that's why we would like to have both, because we may pick up a fish arch here that's not on our structure scan page.
You're exactly right.
So that's why we know it's outside. We may pick up this bright white dot here and be able to come back and go, well, where's these other fish? You can see here there's a group of them here. Here they are, but we don't see this faint one here. We don't see the faint one down here.
That's exactly right.
So that's why we want to be able to do that. Then the next thing is when we look at side scan to me is a searching tool to go and eliminate water. I teach a lot of body recovery. It's not a fun thing to be involved with, but it's part of life and what we do.
Right.
So I always teach we use side scan to search, then we come over and use down scan to define what we're looking at. So use your side scan to go down that creek channel, make you some waypoints on some things to look at, then come back over them, delete the waypoint if it's not any good.
That's right. Okay.
It's simple enough. So that gives us some targets. And what I do is when I'm out there fishing, because believe it or not, being the Lawrence guy is not sometimes the best place to be. Because in this past year, I can tell you I've been fishing 5 times. I can count them. Because, you know, Mama don't like it when you're not home. So
That's
you got to
right.
be getting, the weekends are hers when you're not at a show. So it's really valuable
And
for
if
me.
your hobby happens to be fishing, don't get in the fishing business.
That's right. Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
Don't get into fishing business.
You'll wind up working all the time. So this is really neat. So we can back this. We can come right here and just drop a waypoint right on it. Now, we can come into this waypoint and we can make it a blue dot. We can come here, we can hit enter, and there comes our waypoint, and it's up and running, and now we've got a waypoint there, and we can go back to it. We can go to our GPS chart and go right back over that spot.
Every single time.
Every time. Now, I will preface that with, we have to talk about GPS technology a little bit later on.
Okay.
Because it may not take us directly over that spot.
You're exactly right.
We might miss it, and I'll explain why.
And we will talk about that. That has to do with the satellites.
Right. So another thing in here is, as we go into this, when we look at side scan, most people think it's 180 degrees.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not.
No, sir.
Okay.
We can't come straight across like that. It's an impossibility.
Yeah, because
it's a loop that comes out.
Okay.
So in actuality, this is about a 160 to 155 degrees. So it's here. So if we're out here in about 9 foot of water and we've got a dock over here, we're not going to get under that dock.
Oh, okay.
Unless
okay.
me or you are sitting on one side of the boat and we're leaning the boat really good,
over.
and we're shooting it out the other side, we might get it up enough to get over there.
Okay.
You know,
all right.
quick, get on the port side so we can look out. So
but if you're in deeper water, you can do it though, right?
The more you back out, the more distance you're going to be able to get out. And what we can do, and folks, I don't know if you know this, for those of you who own HDS, I've got about 1,000 screens running at once here. So if we just take pages and hold, it moves us to our active screens. And so when we come up here, I can do range more or less on an 8 or a 10 right down here with the fast keys, or on a 7 or a 5, I would have to hit menu and change those over. And then I could expand my range out or move it in. I like to, on Gen 2 units, because we have something really neat called structure map, where we can map an entire lake if we wanted to.
Oh my goodness.
And save it on a card and load it up. I use it to do a complete creek channel. And like in my fire and rescue folks on Lake Lanier in Atlanta, the areas they're responsible for, we've mapped the entire creeks so they can do side-by-side comparisons.
So they can see an abnormality or something's out of place.
And what it also does, I have a friend that probably has about 150 brush piles on Lanier. You come down Lanier, I'll take out to 1 or 2 of them. But he likes to take a grappling hook and move them. Well, you can find them.
You can find them again.
That's right, exactly. And that's the neat thing about structure scan. A good friend of mine, Joey Mines, called me one day as the BASS folks were working down on Lanier, on West Point. And he called me and said, they've stole all my brush piles. They know where all of them are. I can't find them anymore. So Joey had to get on. Now, we're at a real good screen right here. And I'm going to stop it right here, because right here is a big old school of bait.
It sure is.
How big do you think that bait ball is?
It's pretty huge the way it looks.
Pretty huge.
I
like
the way
that.
it looks on that screen, it's big.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get us onto that active screen. I'm going to back up my crosshairs. Watch this. I can go to menu. I can drop down here, and I can measure my distance. I can hit enter, and I can come across that bait pod right there and see that bait pod, without my glasses on,
is 25.8 feet in depth.
No, across.
Across. Though I meant depth being
28-foot bait ball.
That's a huge bait ball.
It sure is. So that tells me automatically, because I know a little bit about fisheries, believe it or not, it's kind of scary sometimes. That's blueback herring. Blueback herring are massive schools, where our threadfin shad run in smaller schools.
That's right.
So now we can measure. So now once we measure and we know what type of bait is down there, now we know what lure to pick if we're going to throw a crankbait. We know what size spinnerbait blade to throw if we're going to throw a spinnerbait. So we can start eliminating some things and using some of this technology to teach us what to throw as well.
That is awesome. Now see, I didn't know you could even do that.
See? Every day goes by, you got to learn something new, don't you?
Live and learn, die and forget it all.
That's it.
Well, I tell you what, we got to take another break. Let's hurry up and go visit some of more of our sponsors. When we come back, get ready to call with your questions at 737-7767. We got Mark right here. Perfect opportunity for you to learn a little bit more about Lowrance and Navionics. So give us a call back at the next segment. Till then, we'll see you right back here with more of Southern Woods and Waters. This week's product of the week is being brought to you by Gateway Tire and Service Center. We sell tires for the way you drive. This segment is being brought to you by Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Join us in preserving and protecting Tennessee's wildlife. All right, welcome back, everyone. We're going to get Mark right back into it. And Mark, now you have the unit set up on GPS,
Right.
And just hold your calls for just a little bit. We're going to get those phone lines going here in just a second. Explain to us the GPS part of it.
All right. I think the first thing that everybody needs to understand is GPS technology is great.
Right.
I mean, it's in our cars. It's
Yeah.
in our cell phones. It's everywhere we go.
You can't get lost now.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can.
you can.
I did earlier today. And the stupid thing kept telling me to do a U-turn. I don't know. But built into the HDS unit, Gen 1 and Gen 2, and all of our Elite series, and the Mark series, the new little black and white
That's
that even
right.
has, this is a 1 hertz GPS antenna. So a 1 hertz GPS antenna pings the satellite at 1 time a second. Based on that, so notice in your boat, and I know in my boat, once we get past about 50 miles an hour, the screen as it updates, it lurches.
It does.
Right. Well, that's that 1 second update, and we see our waypoint, and we go to make the turn, and it updates. Now we're another 2.5 miles down the road, and we got to come back, right?
Got you.
So if we take that thought, then we take in the 1 hertz. If we make a waypoint based on Coast Guard standards and studies, our waypoint can be anywhere from 3 to 27 foot off.
That's right.
Then if we take in our water column, we could be way off. Like if I'm fishing on Lake Lanier in a 60-foot brush pile, I could be hundreds of feet away.
Right.
But then
You're
I'd be
right.
able to pick up on structure scan. So what we offer as an add-on to the HDS is a 5 hertz antenna.
Okay, now we're getting more precise.
Now we're getting precise, because right now if we just had this on our boat, and you and I are
Without
out
the
fishing,
antenna.
without the antenna, here's the console. Our transducer's back yonder, about 6 foot. Now we're 33 foot off.
That's exactly right.
So we're not dead on it. So what we like to do, for those of us who are out there doing this a lot, and we want to get really active with it, we want to add that antenna and put that GPS antenna directly at the transom of our boat, almost in line with the transducer, so we can be as exact as possible if we're fishing brush water, deep water brush, or whatever we might be fishing, so we can get right back on that spot. All right? Now, one of the neat things we can do, let me show you another neat little trick here, though. So a lot of people say, well, I bought an 8-inch screen. Y'all are eating up the bottom with these fast keys. Well, why don't we just take the exit button and hold, and it goes away.
Look at that.
And then all we have to do is tap one of the fast keys, and it comes back up.
And then just
That's all we do is take the exit button and hold.
and it goes away.
Yep. So now you can have your whole 8 inches screen. How's that?
I just noticed all these waypoints you have here.
I'll give away my waypoint. But one of the other neat things is with the Gen 2, we put a bigger processor in it. So now we can zoom in. And we can come in quite a bit. And we'll let it reboot. There it is. Now, a minute ago, we talked about structure scan, right?
Right.
So what we did by putting in a bigger coprocessor in the unit, we added structure map.
Okay.
All right? So now I can go onto a body of water and I can record my structure scan directly on top of my map. I can record it live and keep it and just let it redo itself each time.
Okay.
Or I can record it and save it. And I can save it to my hard drive and then download it to a chip.
And then you can always have that chip whenever you come back to fish.
Right. So you couldn't do a massive lake, but you could do creeks. So you could have, you know, like on Lake Lanier, for instance, we got 2, 4, and 6 mile creek. I'd have a chip for 2 mile creek, one for 4, and one for 6. And to give you an idea, all you do is take overlay, and I can come right in there and structure. And you can see here, I'll zoom in just a little bit more because this is already predetermined in here because we're already, you can see that it records directly on top of our map. So those of our guys out there that are fishing that say fish small farm ponds, they could go out and record the whole pond.
They sure can.
Or
if you've got bass fishermen like to fish tournaments or crappie fishermen, they want to know more about a creek. Even on a big lake, if they just take a creek at a time,
right,
they can do this also.
Now you're ready for this, put the icing on the cake. We can take this, we can go to Lowrance.com, download Sonar Log Viewer, we can play it back on our computer at home.
No way.
Yes way.
So we could actually sit there at home and plan out our milk run.
Exactly. We can record our sonar too the whole day if we wanted to. You can't do it the whole day, you'd eat up the hard drive.
Right.
But if we had various chips, so when I'm pre-fishing, if I'm pre-fishing by myself, I'll record that back transducer, and at the end of the day, because I'm looking forward, especially say a dock where I'm pitching a lot of docks.
You bet.
I'm not seeing what's going on behind me. And the back end of the boat may go over a brush pile. Well, if I'm recording, if I go back to my room at night and look at it and play it back, it's like, holy cow, where'd that brush pile come from?
Is it also going to show the fish that are located?
No,
it won't show the fish.
No,
okay.
It's going
to show the structure.
Right, and it's going to show our standard things.
So if you know that they're in treetops, or you know they're hanging close to the wood, and you go across a big tree that you didn't know was there,
right,
that's where I'd be going back to.
Exactly. Go back and look at it.
That's right.
So when we were talking a little bit about lack of time to fish, I'm retired military. That's why I got this haircut I've got. So people tell me that I'm extremely anal about the things I do, but I like to study things closely so that I utilize my time the best that I can. So when I make a waypoint, and we'll just drop one right here, it comes up, I can come up here, and if today I was fishing Lake Lanier, I would go here and change this, and I'd put LL, Lake Lanier.
Right.
My next digit I punch in there happens to be the month. Because if you call me in January and say, hey, Mark, let's go fishing, we're not going to the August waypoints because I ain't going to be there.
That's right.
So now I've already eliminated water. Once again, fish are in 20% of the water. We have to eliminate the other 80. And that's how we do it, utilizing the technology we have. And people may say, well, that's an awful lot of work. Yeah, it is. But going out there spending all day freezing to death in January ain't exactly the best thing in the world to do, you know.
No.
So we want to use all that time we can. If somebody calls me and says, now what's another neat thing is, I could take this and then I can come down here and I can change my colors, I can change my symbols and everything else. The other neat thing is, we can do a screenshot and capture it. Take a picture, download it, and put it into a book. So what I do for that, I go to Pages, I'll come over to the 4-pane split, and I'll come right here, and all I've got to do is just go to menu, drop, come up here to System, and right down here, drop down to Screen Capture. I turn it on, and the way you know it's turned on an HDS, we come here, we hit Enter, and there's a blue dot.
Right.
So I can make my waypoint. There's what it looks like. All I got to do is hit the power button once. It stopped, it froze, and there it is. Now I can come home, download it onto a chip, go in and print them out. Now when you say, hey, Mark, let's go fishing, well, let's go to the August waypoints. Oh, yeah, that tree lays that way. Okay. Yep. Okay, that tree should still hold fish. And then when I go there, I know exactly what I'm looking for.
That is awesome. I told you, people, fish don't stand a chance. Hey, call us here at 737-7767 for any of your questions right now. Go ahead and be calling now. And let's Mark, till they start piling on here a little bit, continue on, because this is really something we've never heard about.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know about it. And so
let's talk about an issue that a lot of people have.
Okay.
And one of the issues that we have, and I'm going to get us to a page real quick on the Sonar page here. A lot of guys will sit there and they'll rig their boat. They won't take it to the marina. They can do it themselves. Hell, I can do this stuff. Well, I'm a Georgia high school football educated young man.
That's right.
And then the Navy made me smart. We hook them together, and what happens is if we go in the menu, we'll just hit menu, and we come up here to sonar, it automatically networks them together once we run through structure scan.
Right.
So what happens then is, up front they want to see the water temp.
Right.
But it's only on the back, so they press all the buttons up front, and now everything's working up front, but everything's working in the back. You've got to turn this network sonar off. Network sonar, if you and I were fishing together on Lake Lanier, I'd say, oh, throw here, there's a big brush pile here, and you'd go, he's lying to me. Oh, yeah, I know this fisherman's trick. I could actually network them and tell this machine at the console to read what the front machine says, and I do that through network sonar.
Okay.
So I need to turn it off because that's all they're going to do. They're just going to go back and forth.
They're just going to go back and forth.
Right, and so you're not going to be able to have temp at both places.
Right.
So you need to separate them.
Okay.
Network sonar falls into play when I'm dealing with somebody who's doing a lot of inshore fishing, might have a tower or might have a unit down in the salon, as they call it.
Right.
And so then they can bounce back and forth and just make duplicates.
Okay.
Because redundancy in saltwater is key.
All right, we got some callers here. We've got Dayton. Dayton, how can we help you?
Hey, man, that unit is something else, ain't it?
Dayton Blair. Dayton, how you like this, buddy?
Golly, Bill, I had somebody show me that at Kentucky Lake about, I don't know, 6 months ago, and I realize now where I get beat for that. Because if you don't have that type of unit, it's just, you're beating yourself in the head.
You're exactly right.
When you showed me that 28-foot bait ball of herring, I never even thought about that at all. That's where the guys have got to pull up with them big spoons and catch them fish out of there, you know?
That's exactly right.
Exactly.
That'll be what it is. What I was going to ask him, if he remembers the H2O handhelds that they made.
Yes, sir, I do, and everybody asks about them every day of the week. We came into another handheld, and I know that there's talk about coming out with another H2O type handheld unit in the future.
Do they have a repair shop to send the unit to if it's damaged or anything?
No, sir, I'm afraid not, Dayton. That thing's gotten out of date and discontinued.
Well, that's a heck of a tool, man.
It is. That's what Dayton and them like to use because they're on different kinds of waters all the time.
Right.
And Dayton's part of our pro staff, but he's on Cordell Hull one day. He's on Priest one day. But he gives us fishing reports.
And then get quick waypoints.
And he gets quick waypoints doing it that way. And so
I'm heading down to Gunnersville in the morning going to fish that Spro tournament with that juiced up bait scent.
That's going to be awesome, Dayton.
I'm going down. I'll let y'all go, and I appreciate the time, and I love that unit. So you go to write him a check for 2 of those. And, my boat, we put one on yours.
That's
all right?
what I'll do, Dayton. Thanks, buddy. And we got Michael. Michael, how can we help you tonight?
Hey, you.
Hello, Michael.
Rockfish and hybrid and Percy Priest, and how can I clean my depth finder screen? Because I've tried Windex, watered down vinegar, and I can't get the water spots off of it.
You can't.
Sir.
There's vinegar actually is the best thing. My rep that travels the circuit, he's got a big old bottle of straight vinegar he puts right on the screen, rubs it into his finger and goes there. There's another screen, there's a couple different screen cleaners out there. I use Wave Away, and that seems to work real well, and I don't have a problem with it. It's not any Fish Center or anything that's created those, is it, Michael?
Michael, you think there's a fish scent on there? Oh, he hung up. He hung up to listen.
So that could possibly be it. But vinegar, if you'll take the screen, tilt it back, put the vinegar there and work it with your finger and come over those, 90% of the time it should take it out.
Okay.
I mean, I've never seen a place where it hadn't come out. So
now,
unless it's hard water.
I like to use a microfiber.
The microfiber is the best.
Cloth.
Yep. They come. In fact, when you get a Lowrance unit, it comes with one.
They come with them.
That's right. A nice little white one. It even says Lowrance.
It says Lowrance in blue.
My wife uses those to clean the mirror in the bathroom.
There you go.
But a lot of our other screen cleaners, our aftermarket screen cleaners, come with a microfiber towel as well. So.
All right. We got Danny. Danny, how can we help you?
On fishing crappie at Percy Priest.
Okay.
Trolling with bandits now. When will it be time to stop trolling bandits and go spider rigging with your little jigs and tubes?
Well, I'm going to tell you, probably about the 1st of November. It's according to the water temperature, really the water temperature, and it's hard to predict, especially Mark, Tennessee, because I mean
it might be snowing tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean we're having cold fronts coming early. Seems like temperatures have cooled off a little bit.
Yeah, I know some of the leaves were changing today.
Some of the leaves are changing, but we may have an early winter, and that's gonna make them go to where you're gonna have to do the spider rigging. But I would say normally we're looking at the 1st or 2nd week of November. You can troll till then. I would definitely say all the month of September and probably most of the month of October, especially on Percy Priest and Old Hickory. Trolling's a great method to catch a lot of crappie on.
And then keeping up, of course, with temp. Watching that temp gauge on your electronics.
You bet.
To be able to see the changes in your water temperature.
That's going to be great. That's going to be great. We hope that helps you, Danny.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All right, we got to go now to our tip of the week. This week's tip of the week is being brought to you by Interstate Batteries of Music City, located at 3729 Highway 109 North in Lebanon, Tennessee, home of your alternative power source. All right, welcome back, and let me give you the tip of the week. In using your electronics here, we have found out that using especially the downscan part of it, even the side imagery part of it, locating your fish and locking on them, we have actually shown, Mark, throwing to those fish, catching a fish, and where there was 4 fish there, now there's 3. And we've done it to where Ben Parker and I did it down to where there was just 1 fish left. And Ben Parker and I took the 3 off of it. But you can use these electronics to do that very same thing. The only thing is learning how to key on something, zoom in on it, and identify it.
And understand what you're looking at.
And understand what you're looking at. It's very the same thing.
And, any consumer can go and get an additional power cord.
Right.
From Bass Pro, any of their marinas that they go to, just get an additional power cord. Go to Radio Shack, get an AC to DC converter, and when they can't go fishing, plug it into the wall at home like we've got here with our power supply, turn it on, and sit with it on our lap in the easy chair and punch buttons and not waste our time on the water.
Learn.
That's right.
That's right. Just do it by touch and feel and push the buttons and find out what it'll do.
Exactly.
Awesome. I'll tell you what, we got to take another break. When we come back, Joy has got a recipe that we just left the place at Famous Dave's just to show you a little bit more about what they have available to you as a consumer. Hurry back to more of Southern Woods and Waters. This segment is being brought to you by Advanced Chiropractic, where we help America feel great, one spine at a time.
This week's recipe of the week is being brought to you by Broker Headquarters Group. Let our team in Camo help you with all of your real estate needs.
Well, Joy went and did it again. She's got wings over there from Famous Dave's, and we want to point out that if you haven't been in a Famous Dave's lately, you're missing the boat on some of this. They got traditional wings, but then they got an extra part of the wings. And Joy, you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Oh, you go ahead. You're doing so good.
No, one spine at a time over there.
The reason we went by and got this is Famous Dave himself is in town with Doug and Mike. Yes, to see the Titans stomp
the Cardinals.
Yes.
And Andy's here to release a new cookbook.
Good,
yep.
Good. Well, when you go to Famous Dave's, please go by first and look on Hugh's website, and you can get at southernwoodsandwaters.com a coupon to go $5 off or inside $5 off. Print it off, take it in, and it's wonderful. They ask us if we would show you their wings. When you go in, if you like the little drumettes like Hugh and I do, you can get those. Ask for all those and not the other little wingy parts, whatever they're called. I don't know.
I'm going to ask them. We need to find out. You call one part of it a drummy, and then the other part's a wingy?
I don't know. But it is good. They have all kinds of different sauces. They have one they don't put out on the table. It's called Wilbur's Revenge. I don't do it, but Hugh does it, and we have friends that do it. And please go to Famous Dave's and tell them that you saw their wings on Southern Woods and Waters. Great tailgate. Did you talk about the sunglasses giveaway on the website? Did you talk about the kids coloring contest?
Not yet.
Are you gonna?
No, I'm gonna let you do it.
I already did it.
You did it.
I did it.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Joy. We appreciate that. And you get this. Well, this isn't actually a recipe, but go to Southern Woods and Waters and download the coupons. You can use it for both takeout or eating in the Famous Dave's at any of their locations, and it's good all across. So make sure that you do that. Check out Lawrence too. We're going to try and get our website to web link to Lawrence. Hopefully, if you're on there and you just happen to think about it, you can go to Lawrence and immediately and talk to them about the
whatever question. Talk about the Sonic Hub.
I want to talk about this because, honey, this is why I think we need a unit like this. Because
no, see, you're doing it the wrong angle.
I'm asking.
I've done really well with this. I would say to Miss Joy would be,
how long you been married?
Exactly. You have to do it just right now. And I'd say, Miss Joy, don't you like to listen to music while you're out fishing?
Well, sure she does.
Of course she does. And usually we buy a little radio, we take it on the boat, rainstorm comes, gets wet, gets ruined, you throw it out, and you got to get another one.
You got to get another one.
She ain't going fishing with you again without a radio.
That's right.
That's bottom line. So what we did is we came out with everything we're doing, we're really into integration. What can we tie into the head unit to make things work? And we got a lot of new stuff, so I want to come back in October and tell you about something else. We're going to do that. To where we can use our little cell phone to see what's on our screen.
Oh my goodness.
But
let's not let the cat out of the bag.
No one. Okay. So we'll just talk about the Sonic Hub. So what we can do is we can add this, the Sonic Hub. It's this black box.
Right.
It's an iPod docking station.
Look at
USB
this.
port for music. And 2 speakers. It retails at $299. If we add it to our HDS system, our HDS is now the controlling source for AM/FM. For an iPod or my iPhone, I can plug it in there. The USB, which happens to be Zach Brown Band, in there. If I have the Sirius weather module hooked up, I can pull Sirius radio in. Now my HDS controls that. So we can come right down here to USB. I think I didn't mess up the speakers, so I may have though when I moved it in today. Let's see if I did. Yeah, I did. No, there it is. So now, that's my HDS Zach Brown coming off my USB port.
And you can also do an AM/FM channel.
Right, let's see if we
do AFM 104.5 kids.
104.5. Now you notice here. Oh, there it is. So we can see where we got to seek up and seek down, just like the stereo in our car.
That's awesome.
Now, most ladies that I show this to, they just turn to their husbands and say, honey, get whatever screen you want. Just so I can have the radio.
Just leave the radio on.
Yes, ma'am, I can do that.
I can do that.
And that was really neat during the FLW Championships over on my home lake of Lake Lanier last week. We had a demo boat, which we do at a lot of major tournaments.
Right.
And we take people out and show them the capabilities of the machine. And we show them Sonic Hub. We show them our radar, which is phenomenal, awesome. Which was used during the Classic down in Louisiana because of the fog.
That's right.
Kevin Worth is a very happy man that he had his.
He did have it. That's awesome. Yeah, well, I tell you what, we gotta hurry up right quick.
Okay.
I want to show you what we're giving away this week.
Oh boy.
Is we got our My Blend Deer Minerals. We got this and a 25-pound bag of fall food plot that has brassicas, cowpeas, winter cowpeas. It's got wheat, rye, and clover, something that the deer and the turkey are going to go yum, yum while you're sitting up in a tree. So be the 5th caller, 737-7767. You will be the proud winner of this package right here. And hurry back with more of Southern Woods and Waters. All right, everyone, I want to try and point you out to another great product here. This is our product of the week, and I want to show this to you. I met this guy at the Calsonic Arena Shelbyville at the Bedford County Hunting and Fishing Expo, and this is called Frog Lube. And the reason I'm so intrigued by it is I thought my guns were clean when I put them up at the end of the season. Got them out the other day. We went through serial numbers and all that kind of stuff, so I decided to clean them, just touch it up a little bit with this stuff. Oh my goodness. It still took off a whole lot of grime and a whole lot of carbon that I thought I'd cleaned. But it was even super clean. This is the stuff that the Navy SEALs expressly use. They don't use anything other than Frog Lube. And so it's a brand new, it's come out, it's very green, it's very biodegradable and everything. You can eat this stuff and it won't hurt you, but it will protect your weapons or your personal weapons or your hunting equipment, reels of your rods and reels. This will make your reel even cleaner. So try this out. Frog Lube, go to froglube.com and you can find your area dealers with this. Great product. Wanted to let you know about it. Hey, we got to go to our calendar of the week. This calendar of the week is being brought to you by Drycon Carpet Cleaning. Give us a call or visit us online at drycon.com. All right, wanted to say congratulations to Daryl Vaughn from Sparta, Tennessee. Man, you're going to have the deer eating out of your backyard, buddy. You keep this stuff up, I promise you. All right, on Saturday, August 25th, we got the Montgomery County Bow Hunters is having their All Deer Classic. It's an IBO shoot. It is out at Haynes Bottom, which is out there at Cheatham. So you can call them here at 931-216-8532. That is a two-day event, so it's both Saturday and Sunday. Also Saturday, the only tournament I think that's going on around in this area is out there on Old Hickory, and it's out of Flippers, and it is the Renegade Series Bass Tournament. It goes from Safe Light till 3 p.m. Contact my good friend Rick Hensley at 400-5030. He'll get you into that tournament right there. Here's another one that I do want you guys and gals to know about, and that is October 12th and 13th. Please write those dates down, October 12th and 13th. We will be going to the Carl Perkins Bass Classic. This is the 6th annual Bass Classic. They have over $23,000 in prize money to be given away. That's pretty good when they started off at $3,000. Now they're up to $23,000. This is a great charity that we're doing it for. The proceeds of this tournament goes to the Carl Perkins Abused Children site. So it's a place for abused children to be able to go, recover, and feel safe again. Just a wonderful thing. They got everything going on for kids on Saturday. There's all kinds of things. There's a 5K run. There's a 5K walk. There's TWRA deer scoring, fishing rodeo for kids 12 and under. There's another fishing rodeo after lunch. There's a cornhole tournament at 3 o'clock. Then we get to come in as bass fishermen with our big sacks of fish, and we get to go to the Decatur County Fairgrounds where they will announce the winner of the two-day event. So please mark it down, 12th and 13th of October. We'd love to see you out there. That's going to be at the Perryville Marina out there on beautiful Kentucky Lake, part of the Tennessee, just south of Cuba Landing and Crooked Creek. So that's going to be great. We got 30 seconds, Mark. Man, thank you so much. Yep. Mark Sullivan with Lawrence Navico. I promise you, we're going to have him on here in October. He's got some great announcements to make then, but we're going to be starting to do more shows with him, get him out on the water, and let him actually put this stuff to the test so we can help you become a better fisherman each and every time you go. Please remember, wear your personal flotation devices because we want you to come home to the family once you go fishing. We'll see you right here next week on Southern Woods and Waters. Goodbye.